I want to do a podcast about films.
I'm not stopping you.
No, with you, you fool.
Oh, so you mean you want us to do a podcast about films?
Yes,
Well, why didn't you say that?
I did. I am.
Well, you can't say films. You need to say movies. It's a more broadly recognised term.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. Are you interested?
We can't just talk about films we like. That would be boring.
Okay, then what about films we don't like?
That sounds even more boring.
Okay, how about this? Films we disagree on.
Ah, intriguing. So one of us likes it, the other one doesn't. And we discuss our opinions on the film?
I think you mean movie.
Yeah, don't worry about that now.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
All right, I'm in.
Great.
Could still be boring, though.
You're boring.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Should we do one now? Hello and welcome to Movie the Needle, a podcast where two complete amateurs haphazardly dissect a film that one of us likes and one, well, not so much. My name's Simon, and I'm in our shed with my good friend Carl, where we'll be explaining our opposing viewpoints and seeing whether we can movie the needle for one another. This week, we are discussing the 2003 Sofia Coppola directed movie starring Bill Murray as a fading movie star experiencing a midlife crisis who finds connection with an emotionally lost Scarlett Johansen in Tokyo. Karaoke and lipping of stockings ensue. It's lost in translation.
All right. We're off.
Going straight for it? Okay, right. No more train scheduled for the next few minutes?
I don't know.
It would be much better if they had the comedy rocking of the whole shed as it went past.
The Blues Brothers style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But hey-ho.
You like that film, Blues Brothers?
Am I what?
Do you like that film?
I am I've seen it, but I'm not like a big up on it or anything.
If you didn't like
one
it
of
as a candidate.
One of Emma's, she loves it. She makes a reference to it, and I just go, but yeah, I imagine I'd probably quite like it.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I cannot like it. It's fine. No, yeah, maybe I'll rewatch that. I'll put it on the list. It's quite a long list, but it's on the list.
How's the list going?
Well, it's not gone well this week, and I don't even know why. Like, I was out on Saturday night, so didn't watch a movie. Obviously, watched this one on Friday. Sunday, I don't know why I didn't watch anything on Sunday. I can't think of it. Then I've been away with work, so haven't watched anything. I've been preparing for this podcast, so haven't had time to do it then because I've had to actually work during work hours.
It's annoying when that happens, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, really poor. You?
I have watched 4 films this week.
You bastard.
One's a bit of a cheat, and one actually I forgot to mention
finishing
last
the film
time.
that you started 8 weeks ago?
No, Black Dahlia. No, we still need to go back to that.
Still not finished that. Cool.
And
Why
I will start that again. A quiz show, which I did actually watch before last week's pod, but forgot to mention. Oscar nominated, about the there's the train about the cheating scandal on the quiz show 21 back in the day.
Oh.
Which I didn't really know about, but it was quite a good film.
American thing, I guess.
Yeah, John Turturro.
Oh, yeah.
Hank Azaria is in it. Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I would recommend that. That's worth a watch. Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island?
Are you familiar with that?
No, it sounds a bit
Watched
porny.
it just because of the cover. I was like, that looks cool. It's got our mate Pena in from The Martian.
You like a bit of Pena?
Yeah. I don't know why he's in it, because it's awful.
Oh.
It's
Is this one you literally just saw and went, oh yeah, I'll watch that?
Yeah, it's like a horror thing.
Why would you do that when you've got so many things on your list to watch?
Yeah. It's like a horror thing, right? And there's it's really not very good. And obviously horror's not my bag, but my question to all horror aficionados is, just because you've decided to go down the horror path, why do standards fall on the floor? And I realise that's rich coming from a production such as this.
Yeah.
Well, there's some interesting ideas in there, but then the script's just shit and the acting, and therefore I assume the direction is terrible.
So just a low bar.
Really, really bad. And you're like, well, you're just shitting all over your own idea here. I don't get it.
No.
Because I feel like basic standards, someone should go, we've got a decent idea here, lads. We've even got, a genuine Hollywood actor.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. Pertinent for today. Just don't get it. Fool's Gold.
Oh, right, that sounds familiar.
Matthew McConaughey. Kate Hudson.
Okay, why?
Well, again,
That was during the romantic comedy phase, right?
before the McConaissance.
Before the McConaissance, yeah.
It's like basically a tongue-in-cheek reworking of The Deep. Have you ever seen The Deep, which is a film I like very much? And do you know what? For what it is, pretty good. Nice brain off. It looks amazing.
Shirt off?
Oh, yeah. He looks amazing. Yeah, it's perfectly inoffensive. It's fine. It's not good, obviously, but it's enjoyable
Entertaining.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, sometimes that's all you need.
And then I also watched The Adventures of Tintin. You seen that?
The newer
Spielberg
Andy
one.
Serkis.
Yeah, newer 2013. You've
Peter
got my
Jackson.
disease.
No, Peter Jackson? Or was it Steven Spielberg?
Peter Jackson is involved in, I guess, storyboarding.
Spielberg's
stuff,
in it
yeah.
as well, right?
Spielberg directs it, yeah.
I enjoyed watching that, yeah.
Did you? Oh, I thought it was really disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that a long time ago.
I thought I was really put out by it because I loved the cartoon.
See, I can't remember. I know a friend of the pod, Will, Tintin is like a big thing for him. I can't remember where he fell on the
It's
the
really... I mean, I said
weren't they going to make it into like a big old trilogy?
They were going to do a few of them, yeah. And I'm not surprised they haven't taken it any further because I think they really missed the mark of what made the cartoon so well. And look, my experience of it as a cartoon, other people might be comic book.
Yeah.
I've no idea how that audience would find it, but where the cartoon is fun and charming, and this didn't get it right at all.
It's got Jamie Bell in it.
Yeah, and honestly, he's uninspiring.
Stick to ballet,
Jamie.
Yeah. Come
on. Or beating up girls for possibly money in Lars von Trier films.
What film?
Nymphomaniac.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
I think that's him. If that's not him, what I've just said might be libelous.
Oh, we've got we've got the apology section for next week, Carl. So don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a sorry state of affairs, but the best one I might have watched because I didn't actually watch Quiz Show this week might be Fool's Gold.
Nice. Cool. So I'm actually not that far behind on the watching. By not watching nothing, you're not much further ahead than me. So,
Absolutely.
So there you go.
You do need to crack on with your bonds, though.
I really do. I need to crack on with a lot of things, Carl. But, there's only so many hours in a day. And there's only so many hours that I can spend watching films, unfortunately, whilst still maintaining a relationship with my son
She loves James Bond, does she? I don't know. No?
She's like a lot of people with the Bonds. There's an association with watching it on a Sunday afternoon or something,
That's sad, isn't it? That's gone now with the decline of sort of
watching TV
and to switch to streaming. That's kind of sad.
Yeah. But hey, you told me that you maybe have visited a Hollywood filming location recently.
I did. Yeah, I can't remember which pod we mentioned this on before.
A previous one.
Yeah, have we ever? Yes, that one. Yeah. Have we ever visited a Hollywood filming location? Yeah. And I visited. It sounds wrong to say the set of. I guess a location of Paddington 2, I think.
Okay, when you're on holiday?
No, yesterday.
Near the bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The
I
viaduct.
didn't even think about that. Yeah. Of course. There's, for anyone who's wondering what the fuck we're talking about, there's a bridge, no viaduct.
Yeah.
In fact, near us that they filmed Paddington 2, I think it was. And it was part of a train coming off and crashing into
I don't know, mate. I've not seen it.
River. Oh, yeah, you've not seen Paddington or Paddington 2. You should see it. It's delightful.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. If you don't like it, definite pod
we'll
fodder.
whack it on the pod.
Definite pod fodder. We were talking about our holidays last week, but we talked about so much. We thought we should probably get to the film, so I thought, we'll bump this to next week. But I had a few experiences on holiday of people listening to things loudly on their phone without any kind of headphones.
With no headphones.
Nothing.
That is the...
And not children either. That's the thing. Adults.
It's
Adults
really
doing
not
it.
on that.
I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like why, and what makes it think that people why?
Yeah, it's proper bad wanker behaviour. That it really is.
I'm just so conscious of even my sound from my headphones bleeding into the environment that is distracting and stuff. And there's people just sat on the bus watching quite frankly, inappropriate things for a public environment sometimes as well, whether it be just like, funny clips that are very sweary or rude and stuff when there's children on the bus at the transfer. You're just like, dude, just don't be that guy.
Yeah, it's bad.
Anyway, that's just a little rant which I didn't fit in last week, but you know who you are. You're not listening. You're a cunt. There we go.
And if you are listening, you're annoying everybody else. Although, in contravention to what Simon's just said, if you are going to listen to this podcast in a public place, maybe do listen to it without headphones. Spread the word a little bit.
Good point. Yeah. That is the one exception to the rule. When you're helping to spread the word of the Movie the Needle. Yeah. I do have other. I'd said I was away with work this week. A bit of a film-related discoveries about two of my colleagues.
Oh, this is interesting.
Which was interesting, yeah. So, one colleague has a brother who's a cinematographer and is travelling to LA because he has been nominated for a short movie award.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the movie is called Memories of Us. So I don't know how you can watch it or where you can watch it or whatever. I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
But it sounds quite cool.
Yeah.
So it's like 23 minutes long, 22 minutes long. I think it's set in Belfast. They are being Northern Irish. And it's about a early onset Alzheimer's and a couple and how it impacts them. I think it's like, that could be quite a powerful
heavy
stuff.
I like it. Yeah.
22 minutes. I think that could be good. So, good luck to Joe O'Hagan with his award. But
does he listen to the pod? Does he listen to the pod?
Well,
that should be your next question.
His sister does. So that's one thing. So maybe I should give him the cards.
Yeah.
The little business cards to then spread around his old movie thing.
Yeah.
That's what I should do.
Yeah, you should
That's
do
what
that.
we should
do. Get a load of industry professionals listening.
Oh, shit. No.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
Yeah. Oh, they might know stuff about movies.
Ask them. Yeah, but they also say, please only distribute these to idiots. We've got to...
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Maybe I should put that on the card.
Yeah.
Please.
Are you an idiot? Do you like movies?
Yes.
Boy, have I got the podcast for you.
And then the second one was my boss, my line manager, is on IMDb
All right.
as an actor.
Oh, really?
Because when he was in LA, he was in a couple of, not successful or big.
Has he spent time as a waiter?
I imagine you have to. It's the rules, right?
Yeah, that's the trope, isn't it?
Yeah. And he was also saying that he wants to get back into. He quite enjoyed just writing scripts for TV shows and films up just for himself. No, he's not trying to make it or anything, but just funsies. And I thought cool. Never knew about this. This is why we do team building. Find out all this interesting shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't listen to our podcast though.
No, again, you need to. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, there is that element, isn't there? When you a crossover into real life.
Yeah. There's a degree. But yeah, you got anything else?
No, I still need to respond to Will's email.
Apologies, Will.
Yeah, again.
Well, we can lead off the apologies there.
Yeah,
we've got another couple,
and I'm not well prepared enough to talk about a couple of things that came up in the discussion yet, so we'll have to leave that until next week again. But we have got a couple of apologies.
That's what we call in a business a tease.
Yes,
just for one person
in the business.
Fuck it.
These loose connections have gone to your head in the business.
So I should remove movie mogul from my LinkedIn.
I think, doesn't that mean you make movies?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, but I know someone who's involved in making movies, so that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Yeah. I've got two apologies, and then you've got at least one.
I do? Do I have an apology? I've just got your two down here.
Okay, I'll remind you. Don't worry.
Oh shit, I do. No, okay, I remember now. Yeah. Go on. So you do one of yours. I'll go for mine. In the middle.
Okay. My first one. I was listening back to the Joker episode. And we did a top three of movies where the title is the name of the character. And we came up with a few exceptions. So, that's cheating. That's a nickname. Made my top three. Donnie Brasco.
Right.
It's not his fucking name, is it? That's his cover name.
Yeah. I mean...
Look, I just wanted to get the pedantry in before anybody else did.
That's fine. That's fine.
So... Go on then. You do yours.
So we had... This was last week in the... where I was pronouncing the surname that is spelt NG as NG because my understanding and experience from school with a boy in my year who was called Jonathan NG, and that's how.
Well,
everyone called
you've
him.
all bullied him into being called Jonathan NG.
And that my brother also knew his sister in his year, and she was.
He bullied
I
her,
think,
yeah.
Sue Lynn NG.
Yeah.
So, but with I mean, let's face it, not very much research that was needed of how do you pronounce
Yeah.
NG, and it's actually.
Crucially, what it isn't, which as I pointed out to you at the time,
It's not.
N fucking G.
No.
Because that's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm sorry
Yeah.
for that, but I mean, correct me.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing, isn't it? This is a stain on us all.
Yeah.
Because we've all collectively created an environment where people with funny names think, oh, it's just easier.
Yeah. Fair point. So, yeah.
Shame on you, shame on us all.
I know now, though, so I'm going to do it, and then someone will go, no, it's NG.
Yeah, they go, please don't say that. I'm just...
And then your one, big apology. I think both of us really should be apologising for
Well,
it, particularly you. But...
So what's happened this week? So again, the previous episode we did, were they alive or not?
Yeah, Death of Stalin episode. We
Yeah.
played the game Dead or Alive.
And we remarked, or I remarked on, oh no, what happens if I get one of these wrong? What happens if I say someone's dead and they're not dead? We could curse them. And the very first one I got wrong and made that remark
Yeah.
was James Earl Jones.
The late, great
Well, he's late now, isn't he?
James Earl
After
Jones.
the bloody curse.
Yeah.
You can't outrun the curse.
Yeah. Good old killer Carl over there.
So apology to the family of James Earl Jones for accidentally...
It was always going to be a risk doing this with, what do you call it? It's not, what comes after octogenarian? Nonagenarian.
Yeah.
Nonagenarians. Yeah. It was always going to be a risk. We did say at the start this could age very badly. It also now looks like people listening back to this, they were like, they're wrong. He's dead.
Yeah, it will, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to add a disclaimer to the episode notes just in case and just keep updating it every time someone pops the clogs.
Oh, God. Can you imagine if anyone's listening to that this week?
I was genuinely upset though because that was the one person on there that I have like genuine affection, I think, for.
Mufasa, isn't it?
Exactly. And obviously Darth Vader.
Never heard of it.
Carl,
Yes?
I'm thirsty.
Oh, right.
Unveil the ale.
Okay, right. Well, I'll glass you first of all, if you wouldn't mind.
Cool, yeah. I mean, glassing is an act of violence, right? Excellent. Silently put down. He's learning. He's learning, everyone.
Right, there is a beer in the film. Did you spot it?
Right, what film are we doing? We're doing Lost in Translation. There was a beer when they're doing karaoke? No, they were doing shots. What were they doing with a beer? Who was drinking a beer?
It's really boring.
Oh, okay.
Just people in the bar.
Oh, no, I didn't spot it.
Right, the beer in the film is...
Budweiser. Heineken?
Yes.
Okay.
I know, it's boring. So we'll drink this first.
Okay, fine. Is there another one?
There is another one.
This is the downside of doing
It was
this,
easy with the bag.
doing this podcast in a space that has a footprint.
Space?
Yeah.
Just walk around.
I mean, you could have just shouted. It would have been picked up in my mic and probably yours as well. But for the comedy effect that no one saw of Carl just shuffling back to his seat before he spoke, could I have an opener, please?
Oh, for God's sake.
Sorry. Yeah. I know, right? But there we go. So Heineken, brewed by.
Well, Heineken.
So what? The beer's called Heineken and the brewery's called Heineken.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I have got a beer. I thought I can't. I know that we sort of said like early doors with this segment, if you like. And look, if there's beer in the film, we should have that. And that was great when we were doing Blood Diamond, and it was for an extra Guinness for an extra stout.
That was excellent. We didn't have that for that movie though.
No, we didn't because we hadn't started the segment yet. So we
subsequent-
sort of got that one afterwards
that's
and
when
paid,
we were doing it sober.
paid homage to it. And I've got a massive
boy, can you
apology
tell.
to make to you whilst we're on this.
Oh yeah.
Because whilst I was in Tenerife, I picked up a foreign extra stout, Nigerian one. Mm-hmm. I thought I'd take one of those back for Simon because you don't see
You
that.
just drank it.
No, I did drink it, but I thought I'd take... The reason I drank it there was because I also picked up a Guinness special export.
Okay.
Right, which is a version that you can get in Ireland and like Holland and things. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's brilliant. You compare the two, they're very similar. It was a bit stronger. And I thought, I'll go back to that shop. Never did. So I'm really sorry. That's reminded me. I'm genuinely annoyed about that because I'd love to be sharing one of those right now.
I'll have to go back.
Yes. So
Pod on tour.
we said, well, if there's a beer in the film, we'll do that. Heineken's really boring. So what I've also picked up is a beer by a brewery called Gweilo or Gweilo.
Okay. Is this Japanese?
It's not Japanese. It is a Cantonese word, but it's
The same though,
it's
isn't it,
obviously
Carl?
that way out. but the beer is called Neon Jungle IPA.
Okay, yeah,
So
makes sense.
there's one.
What did we just say?
So the beer is called Neon Jungle IPA. So that's there's a good link there.
I like it, yeah.
But Gweilo is a slang term for foreigner.
What you just is that the name of the brewery or
That's the name of the brewery,
beer? Just
Gweilo,
because after last week, I just need to
Oh yes.
check.
Actually, I tell you what, it's the brewery actually appears to be Brew York.
Oh,
So Gweilo maybe is like
maybe it's both of those things.
like a sub. No. I tell you what it is. Gweilo is the Hong Kong brewery, so they must be collaborating with Brew York to make this. So so we'll get stuck into those after the Heineken. But Neon Jungle IPA, Gweilo, slang term for foreigner. It's all there. It's all good stuff.
Good stuff. Where do you sit on Brew York, by the way?
Quite like them. Yeah. Quite like Brew York.
Interesting names. I think they're good at the juice.
Cocoa.
Juice Forsyth.
Oh yes, Juice Forsyth's very good.
Yeah. Like them. Like a local. Okay, let's get things started then. So we are talking about Lost in Translation this week. But first, a reminder of our simple 5-point scale. We either really don't like it, we don't like it, we're ambivalent, we like it, or we really like it. So first things first, let's find out our general impression. Who likes it? Who doesn't? Carl, away you go.
I really like it.
Oh, he really likes it.
I really like it.
Well, Carl, guess what?
Are you dead inside?
I mean, yes, but that's irrelevant. I don't like it. Now, do you want me to go first with why I don't like it? And then you can...
Yeah, go on. Go
Okay.
on. Hit me with it. Put me out of my misery.
So I honestly thought, right, when we were pulling this list together, I thought this was going to be a little bit of a stretch for the old I don't like. I was like, I'm probably going to be ambivalent. I might even be tempted to go up to I like, but on rewatch, it really didn't sit right with me, It's just...
Oh, you're killing me.
I will be asking you through this, like, what is this movie about? And I'm sure you're going to come up with some very interesting, detailed, potentially wanky themes. But I'm interested. I'm just potentially.
A return for wanky.
Yeah. And I do want you to be able to describe this movie to me as well, because I struggled a little bit with the intro as well. When you're trying to like genreify it and sort of say it's this kind of thing. Struggled a little bit with that, so I'd like to see if we can. And the best I came up with was loneliness of two pretty unpleasant people.
Interesting. There's a nice little segue here. So someone on Letterboxd that I follow has accidentally given it the perfect review.
You should get them on.
I say accidentally because this person gave it 1 star out of 5.
Oh, right.
And their review was simply, no real meaning, just vibes.
Wow. There you go.
To which I said, such is life. Because I think that's a great review for this film. Although my mark is somewhere wide of 1 star. I imagine that response will just get, you what, mate? But we'll see. We'll see. I'll say, I think, just in general on no real meaning, ultimately, well, maybe this isn't so obvious because you said, what's this film about? As you say, if you're sort of looking for any real meaning in a film that is about sort of love or happiness or something along there, you might be a bit disappointed if you're looking for films for that sort of to answer that question. So probably not a real fair criticism. With that being said, I think there is something really special in this film in terms of just being able to enjoy the moment of them coming together and take it for what it is, which some people would indeed argue is the meaning of life, but there you go. But I love this film. I think it's a real experience. And I think there's some real filmmaking skill gone into it. We can talk about that. Honestly, that's not why I love it. I think we're going to have to wait for plot to really get into that. But I think it's got some really touching performances. And if it's leaving you cold, my conclusion is, in fact, that you are dead inside.
I mean, here's a fear I have. I'll be quite honest, Carl. The more we do this, the more it's leading me down the path of dead inside. To be honest.
Yeah, fair point.
I blame you entirely, though.
Fine.
I think you've killed me.
Fair enough.
Internally.
I think I want to touch on this in the production, but I think I can give you a bit of an out or a bit of an explanation for this rewatch. But we'll get there.
Okay, moving on to the cast. And I want to lead things off, Carl, with I don't have any problems with the acting in this at all, especially by the two main leads. I think it's definitely the strength of the movie. I think most of the problems that I have are not necessarily with their performance. It is elsewhere. Let's start with old Muzzer.
Bob Harris.
Bill Murray. Bob Harris. Now, the one problem a little about Bob Harris. Bill Murray character called Bob Harris. I don't know.
It's not a million miles apart. They're kind of
maybe
everyday
Bob Harris.
names.
Isn't Bob Harris like a Radio 2 DJ?
Oh, I don't know.
Like does country music. Is that Bob Harris? I think that's maybe the association I had, rather than movie star Bob Harris. I don't know. It's
Bill Murray's not a movie star name, though.
No, Bill Murray is not a movie
star. It's hardly Tom Cruise, is it?
No, this is true. But yeah, I think this is a great fit for him, and clearly written with him in mind.
Well, this is the most interesting one to discuss, because I wouldn't go as far as to say this is an un-Murray-like performance. I would say it's a very, very dialed-back, subtle one.
Yes, which is why I liked it. That is the version of Bill Murray I like more. The more dialed down, the more quiet sarcasm, dry bit, rather than the more hyperactive, overactive version.
He's like constantly, you can see, again, maybe this isn't acting, but you can see him. He's playing this tired old pro who is constantly, because he's out of place, because he's tired, because he's old, resisting the urge to go full Bill Murray.
Yep.
And it's like he knows it'll be lost on those around him anyway, so he's always sort of reeling himself back. And I think he plays it so well.
Yeah, and I think just on Bill Murray generally, like I rewatched Ghostbusters recently, and I think that is, for me, the perfect Bill Murray.
Peak Bill Murray.
Where he's big, but he's not over the top. Scrooged, for me, too much, too big, didn't like it, don't like him, blah. This is on the quieter end, and I mean he's properly acting in this. Like,
yeah, I think so. I think it's really good.
Yeah, very good. For some moments where he's really fantastic. So it was going to be one of my favourite parts, but I think I've picked another scene now, so I can talk about it. But when he's lying on the bed, they're having like the sleepover in the room, right? And they're just lying next to each other, and when he's talking at that part, where he's just looking up, he's basically just like looking up at the ceiling and just
it's a great scene.
Talking. He's fantastic, fantastic there, and you are 100% like you are that character. Yeah. You are, and it's brilliant. So yeah, I thought that was the sort of peak moment for him. But there's other moments as well, particularly right at the start of the film. Actually, just the weariness and the tiredness of arriving after a long flight, and just the little reactions, face touching and leaning and stuff.
I've got that exact note. All those little micro reactions, and it's really good. I mean, I don't think I can point to a better performance by him for me.
No.
He doesn't go full Bill Murray, he just hints at it. And I think the result is fantastic. We get a very believable performance. We get all the benefits of his charisma without it sort of ever becoming that caricature, which can happen. What do you think to Scarlett?
Right. So, I have no issues with her acting in this whatsoever. I think she's, again, very, very good, very believable. I did not realise how young she was in this.
19.
17 at the time of filming.
Yeah.
And obviously then, by the time of release, 19.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it left me feeling a little bit icky, the 17 thing. Myself.
You could do the same thing in Keira Knightley's 17 for the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of sort of
I think there's
references.
Maybe less. The movie doesn't start with her arse just there. And I'd written in my notes when I rewatched this, I was like, greatest opening to a movie ever. And then afterwards, what I was doing, I was like, oh, I feel a little bit dirty inside.
It's just a Hollywood problem. I mean, Keira Knightley was sexualised long before Pirates of the Caribbean, even.
Yeah.
I think she'd done like that, Bend It Like Beckham by that, and she'd.
Yeah. I mean, she's 17 and she's playing, obviously, older because she's finished college thing. So I imagine she's, 23?
It's a Hollywood problem. You can't feel bad for watching what's been put on screen in that sense, but
did make me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, you can't dismiss it as a concern either, because it's like, somebody at some point should go, it's probably not appropriate we do this for. If we want to do this, maybe we should get an older actress, that sort of thing. But
yes,
I think she's fantastic in this. I think to be that age and deliver this sort of performance is crazy, and she's cast very well for it as well. But I think she's fantastic in it.
Yeah, and it's detaching because I'm not a massive fan of the character, but I think her performance as that character is excellent.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to get into it too deeply here, but it's interesting you say they're unpleasant, because I didn't find those unpleasant at all. I thought the other two were obviously the unpleasant ones.
The husband and...
Which was a very deliberate choice to make them... almost like you're holding up a mirror to go, well, that's the other side of people at this sort of age and what have you, and in this sort of industry. They're all rash and arrogant and all into themselves, and hold that up against these more contemplative lost souls. But focusing on the actors, Anna Faris. Is it Anna?
Anna Faris, yeah. Of Scary Movie.
Yes, that's right. That's primarily where I know her from as well.
Yeah, but I've seen her in a couple of things where she's quite fun and good. She's
Movie 43, where she asked Chris Pratt to shit on her chest.
I'm not familiar with. Well, no, I've not watched movie 43. That is not a well-reviewed movie, right?
Well, it's because it's got things like that in it.
But she's got obviously like a range of, I think, that she can do, and I think this is right in the wheelhouse of brash, over the top. And so she seems to fit it quite well. She's quite fun.
She's perfect for it.
Yeah.
Now, I said she was an unpleasant character, but I actually think her character is far too thick to criticise.
Yeah, I didn't find her unpleasant. It was.
She doesn't know.
It was almost like a, it's almost like a caricature of an airhead, right?
Yeah. Now John, the character of John, I think he is not quite as thick, so we can criticise a bastard.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, who I really quite like.
I'm a big fan. I think it goes back to the Friends days,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've got real affection for that.
Yeah.
And he's really good in Friends as well.
He's really good in Friends. He's an absolute fucking weirdo.
It was so weird. Brilliant. But yeah, I've seen him in a few things where you're like, oh yeah, you're fucking good. I think he's one of those actors that gets around quite a lot, doesn't he? And just, he does all kinds of...
Not filmed. Have you seen Sneaky Pete?
No.
He's the lead in, I think it's an Amazon series.
Okay.
I've only seen the first series. Very, very fun. And he is fantastic in it. So, I don't, like you said, he gets around. I don't think I can point to him as the lead in a lot of things. But he's definitely there. He's definitely got some chops. He's fun.
Let's revisit your character assessment of him later as well when we come back to it.
He's a wanker, mate.
Yeah, but let's revisit that.
Right, yeah.
Anyone else? Any other actors? Not really. No.
I didn't write anyone down. Have you got anyone?
No. Recasting though.
Mm.
Oh, actually, no. Hold that thought, because you mentioned about the husband and airhead actress.
Yes.
Do you know the autobiographical, semi-autobiographical reference there from Coppola?
Well, I mean, she was in Godfather 3 and she was fucking awful. Did she get a load of criticism for that performance?
I mean, yes, but no. So the husband, her boyfriend, was
yes.
Spike Jonze, who was and then the airhead actress is Cameron Diaz is the casting aspersion there. Apparently, I'm not sure she's ever said this. I think this may be people reading between the lines, and
there'd be a bit of career suicide in that, wouldn't she? If you were going to cause that sort of friction with Spike Jonze. I suspect he's rather more established in the biz than she is.
I mean, I don't know. He was, I mean, not at that time, maybe, but yeah. But yeah, he was. I thought that was an interesting.
Well, I'll show my hand on the recasting thing, and that's possibly because I've heard that before. But she is perfect for it. It's Cameron Diaz.
Oh, really?
As Kelly,
for Scarlett Johansson? Well.
No, Scarlett Johansson? Fuck no. As Kelly.
I was the airhead actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say.
God almighty, Cameron Diaz could not deliver what Scarlett Johansson delivers.
Hasn't got the acting.
She absolutely hasn't, no.
No Murray alternative?
Yeah, I have.
Really?
I've got two.
I really struggled with the Murray.
I got two. One of them I've suggested before for something else.
No.
I think he's a fantastic actor. He's just too old for this.
Too old?
Yeah, he's too old for this. I think he really could do that sort of that tired old bit while still maintaining a ton of charisma, which is Paul Newman.
Oh yeah, way too old.
Fantastic actor, but he is too
I'd fuck Paul Newman though.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Oh, just look at me with those eyes, bitch.
Big sad blue eyes.
I'm there.
Twinkling.
17 or not. Bend me over.
Oh. bit of blue for the dads. But the other one that's a bit more age appropriate is Tom Selleck.
Yeah, again, I don't think he's got the acting chops for it.
He probably isn't quite as good an actor as Bill Murray is in this, but again, that sort of like charisma, old, weary.
He definitely couldn't bring the same level.
Hasn't got the subtlety probably.
No,
that he's got on display here.
But it's strong. I mean, it was written for him, and he was pursued vigorously by Coppola to.
It's a great performance. I haven't read too much of it. I wonder where it sits in his filmography for him.
He says it's his best one.
I was going to say he must be proud of it.
Yeah, he says it's his best movie.
Do you know what as well? Like
I don't know if that's still the case. I mean, he hasn't done a right lot.
No, he's gone to more bit parts post this, hasn't he?
Well, he's quite old now.
He is, yeah.
How old was he, or how do you think the character is meant to be in this?
60s.
You think he's meant to be 60s?
Yeah, I think he's meant to be 60s. I mean, he looks quite old, Bill Murray. He's always been quite weathered face-wise. So
I would have said like early to mid 50s, maybe. Like he's I reckon he's like 10 years past his absolute peak, and he's on definitely out that way. I didn't actually look how old Murray was in this and what the age difference was between the two actors, and therefore and what the age difference between the two characters was meant to be roughly. So
he's about 60, because isn't he about 80 now?
Yeah,
this was like 20 years ago.
He definitely looks about 80 now. Like, he didn't necessarily look about 60 in Lost in Translation. I thought he still looked fairly fresh-faced for.
That's interesting. I would have put him in his 60s, but it must be fun as well. Fun's maybe not quite the right word, but like not many actors get a chance to be in a film like this. Maybe they do when they're small and independent, but one like this with a proper budget and a proper production, right? Something honestly that's just a bit out of the ordinary. It's a bit like not straight down the line. Anyway, what about Charlotte?
I just said someone a little bit older. So, just I don't know, 18 would have been
You
fine.
can't get hung up on that. I don't dismiss it as a thing, but like for the film as it makes it onto the screen.
Yeah, I struggle. I haven't come up with any particular.
Emily Blunt.
I mean, of course, Emily Blunt. I mean, she might have been younger by that time.
Anna Kendrick was one that I went for.
Again,
don't know why.
Too young. Yeah, too young for.
She's a bit. No, I do know. I do know. She's like 2 years older than Scarlett Johansen, I think.
Okay. Really? Okay.
Yeah. Anna Kendrick, because she's got that
do like an Anna
same sort of earnestness and sort of softness about her and vulnerability, but she has got a bit of like personality and.
Yeah, and she can act like the up in the air, and she was very good in that. You not think she was good in that?
Well, my problems with that film are not related to Anna Kendrick, to be fair.
Okay. I hate George Clooney.
I fucking hate that film.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's awful.
Pod fodder. Potential pod fodder.
Oh, dearie me.
You just hate Vera Farmiga, is that it? Everything that she's in, just hate her.
No, she was the best thing about that film, Vera Farmiga.
Carl, I forgot to say.
Hmm?
We've got a game. Would you like to do the game now?
Well, can we recast Giovanna Ribisi
Oh, shit,
first,
sorry.
please?
All right, yeah, sorry, I thought you were done. Carry on.
You can have Chris Pratt, arrogant.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I reckon too. Yeah. And also not...
Bit of a dummy.
He needs to be not like super hot, attractive either. And Chris Pratt can do a little bit of both.
He can rough up a bit, can't he?
Yeah, exactly,
yeah. Similarly, Sam Rockwell. Plays a dummy very well.
Yeah, I think he would be too big for the role. You know, too much personality.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's play the game. I'd love to play.
All right. So I've imaginatively called this game, Carl. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Lost in Translation.
Like it. Yeah. Straight on the nose.
I don't know how I made the connection to the film, but
well, what's the film called? Let's just. Oh, fucking hell! It's exactly the same as the film.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't even see. So. The premise of this game, I'm quite pleased with myself.
Come on.
I'm quite pleased with it. So, what I have done is I've taken the title of a movie and I've used Google Translate.
Oh, she's the same age as Scarlett Johansson. The ball. Walk it back, quick. Right, sorry, lost in translation.
Yeah, so Carl really wanted to see Anna Kendrick at 17. That was what you.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Where's the stop button?
Anyway, the game, Lost in Translation. So I've taken a movie title, I've put it through Google Translate through a number of different languages and then back to English.
A number of...
So I've got... There's at least 4 or 5 steps and then back to English, right? So I'll tell you the messed up...
Oh, you absolute ghoul. I love it.
Name of the movie. And you've got to go back to the original name.
Yep.
Okay? Now, I will give you a little bit of a clue that some of these movies are ones we have talked about on this podcast. Some of them are not.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are easier than others because apparently putting it through that doesn't mess them up too much.
Right.
But so I'll start you off nice and easy.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to start you off really easily.
Yeah.
You'll get this one.
All right.
You're guaranteed.
Oh.
So I started off in English and then I went to Amharic, then to Italian, then to Persian, to Russian, to Punjabi, back to English, okay? And it ended up with, there is no country for the elderly.
Yes, okay. No country for old men.
No country for old men. Now, this is a nice, easy one to easy win, yeah. Easy win. Okay. This one went from English to Albanian, to Basque, to Afrikaans, to Amharic. I don't know if I'm saying Amharic right. I've never come across this language before. There's a lot, by the way. You look through the list of languages, it's quite incredible. Why are there so many languages as humans? Mental.
Why are there so many languages?
It's crazy.
Christ almighty.
It's crazy. The world's not that big. Anyway, so it ends up with something.
It ends up as something, right?
Something. So what was the original title of the movie? The Thing. The Thing is right, yes.
Yeah.
It ended up with something, yes.
Yeah.
So you put The Thing through to Albanian, Basque, Afrikaans and Amharic, back to English, comes up with something. Okay, another one. So this went from English to French to Arabic to Albanian, back to English. Okay, and ended up with the dead.
The dead.
The dead, yes.
They're short, isn't it?
Yeah. You'll start to see it. Some words stay the same, some words change.
Well, I hope the
You would
stays
think
the
so,
same.
yes, you would think.
Can you imagine if they're getting that mixed up?
Some films we've talked about, some we've not.
I don't. The dead. Oh, I don't. I'm gonna have to give up.
The Departed.
Okay.
The Dead.
Very good.
Okay. So this one I put from English to Zulu to Welsh to Hebrew to Turkish back to English, and it ended up with how to set up your account. You're no chance going to get this one.
How to set up your account.
How to set up your account. Again, some words will stay the same, some will have changed inexplicably.
Well, I mean, the way you say inexplicably, then I'm now thinking of How to Train Your Dragon.
Very good. You did get it. Yes. How to Train Your Dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
How it got to how to set up your account.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
okay.
that's where we ended up. Okay.
Right.
So this one went from Turkish to Urdu to Japanese to Igbo.
Never heard of it.
Back to English.
Yeah.
No. And it ended up with Before the East.
Before the East. So that's going to be something to do maybe with the sun. So going to be before sunrise.
You got it. Before sunrise. Well done. Okay. And this one went from Igbo to Bulgarian to Latvian to Greek back to English.
This is all, by the way, superfluous, because I don't speak any of these. So
Well, no, I don't. Yeah,
So-
I mean, what I was considering doing was trying to pronounce each one as it changed to see if you could then figure out and throw some in there that you kind of spoke a teeny bit of. But fuck that. So the eternal.
Think of all the people you could have offended.
The eternal death of the old mind.
Okay. Eternal death. The old mind. To do with memory, maybe. Eternal is constant. Forever.
You can always hear his cogs whirring.
Everlasting.
Again, some words stay the same, Carl.
Yeah, the death, we hope. What was it? The eternal death of the old mind.
The eternal death of the old mind.
Not
Not one we've covered. Play along at home, kids. You can play along at home.
Yeah.
Screaming at
I don't know. Let's put me out my misery.
Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
I should have just
A couple of words there. Okay, last one. This is perhaps the best one because I have no idea how it got to it. So this one went from English to Punjabi to Thai to Mongolian, traditional Mongolian.
Yeah, all the relevant information.
To Zulu to English.
Yeah.
And it ended up with no action was made.
No action was made.
Mm-hmm.
No action made. Nothing happened. Nobody did anything. Zero.
You're 100% never going to get this.
Let's go zero. Let's go zero Dark 13.
Oh, I like your thinking. I like it. But no. Mission Impossible.
It doesn't mean they didn't try. Mission Impossible. We're going to give it a go? Nah,
I
different film.
quite like the idea of, Mission Impossible 2, no action was made too.
Yeah, very different film. Your mission, should you choose to accept it? No,
nah.
fuck that.
Too hard, mate.
Very good.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, enough with the nonsense. We move on to production.
Another beer.
As Carl opens another beer. We get through the Heineken phase and into the, remind me?
Neon Jungle IPA.
Neon Jungle
Gweilo
IPA.
or Gweilo.
Vibrantly redefining. It's a nice can.
It's a great can.
Not to judge a can by its cover, but it's really, really nice.
No, you can judge a can by its cover. You can't
I can't judge a beer by
cover.
its cover. Sorry, you're right.
It'd be weird if you didn't, wouldn't it?
What are you judging it by? Its feel?
Yeah. Doesn't feel very canny.
Yeah. Anyway, production we move on to. I don't think I actually said that yet. We're moving on to production, as is tradition. One day I'll mix it up and just really fuck you up. But no, not today. Today will be production. So, director. We've mentioned her already. Sofia Coppola.
Yeah. Okay. Look. Let me say.
Oh, go on.
Let me say
Get
something.
right in there. Go on. Say it. Say it.
Let me say so. You're lucky because I nearly put this in my opening statement, and then when I looked at the massive amount of text, I was like, "No, I can't put it there. He'll be cross if I get one for so long."
Don't anger him so early.
Yeah. And it sort of relates to what you said about you thought you might actually maybe like this one a little bit, but this rewatch gave you a different thing. I think this is a film where you absolutely need to pay attention. Not because it's complicated. And actually paying attention is sort of underselling it. You can pay attention to it, but in a very specific way, right? It's such a mood piece. You need to feel it. You need to let yourself...
Well, writing notes is a very bad way to fucking experience it then, isn't it?
So, I mean, it was easier for me because I love the film. So I'm just going, yes, this bit, yeah, I'd love this bit. But if you are writing notes and you're not sure about it, it is not the way to consume this film.
I think that's
at all.
A rather excellent point, Carl.
It's difficult, isn't it? And I think I saw one of my friends had rated it as well. And I know how he watches films. He will have been on his phone.
Carl misspoke there. What he meant to say was another one of my friends has rated it as well. Yeah. Right, Carl? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not fucking colleagues here.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I still love you, don't worry. He rated it 2.5 stars, right? And,
okay. Is he generally a generous rater? Is this...
No, he's pretty balanced with it. So he's not trashing it by any means. But the thing is, I know how he watches films. And the idea that he won't have been on his phone throughout this film.
Oh, right, okay.
It's not happening. That's just what he does, right? You can't do that with a film like this. We talk about what the films ask
away
of
with
you.
It almost like
we talk about what the films ask of you. You have to go with this film, otherwise, what's on screen? Very low dialogue, English dialogue at least. It's low on dialogue. It's low on honestly plot and story as well. It's such a mood piece, and if you are not in the right mood to watch this film, I love it. I'm not going to go bang it on every night of the week. It's not you've got to be in the mood for a film like this. So I do think it's a difficult ask for something like this for you to go, well, I'm not sure how I feel about this. And then you sit down to give it a critical eye. It's not the right frame of mind to watch it. And actually, going back to something else we've said, the shift from what we sort of termed as like event watching, going to the cinema or renting or waiting for the premiere.
You think this much more lends itself to the at-home watching?
Well, we used to do that, so we used to just naturally give films our full attention. Also, smartphones weren't a thing either. Now, when we're very much more on demand, I want this short attention spans, I've got a smartphone in my hand, you sort of wonder how much harder it is to get a film like this made because people just don't have the attention span for it. They don't.
And I think the surprising thing for me, right, I actually do really like these kind of movies, right? The low dialogue.
Yeah.
Quite like the low dialogue. I quite like the high dialogue movies as well, like the ones where it's actually the complete opposite and there's lots of back and forth and talking. But I quite like the small focus pieces with a couple of characters and stuff. The Before series, different thing. That's much more verbal and interactive in that way between the characters. But yeah, I was, as I said, expecting to really not dislike it. I thought I'd be at very best just like, it's not my bag, but there's really good things about it. And there are some really good things about it, which we've already talked about with the acting. I don't know, some of the, and I'm going to talk about it in production, right? There's some really nice shots. Like there is some bits that are really good. Like the bits where the karaoke where she's wearing the pink wig and stuff. A lot of those shots with the windows out, and then when they're sitting in like outside having a smoke, like outside the room but still inside the building, the the karaoke room, that is set up as a really nice looking thing. It's almost like it's like a poster almost, right? It's set up. You can just take a picture of that, put that on your wall. Beautiful. Thank you very much. The bit that disappointed me a little bit with that is like, I thought Tokyo would look better, more vibrant, more like, oh, that looks amazing, I want to go there. And it didn't really exactly blow me away with its like city shots or even with its like overall nature. We talked about at the start with the Bill Murray doing his like some really good acting and micro reactions and stuff when he's in the car and looking out the window. And Scarlett Johansen does a similar thing of looking out the window at the outside. And it feels like they're trying to make me go like, oh, they're awe-inspiring and overwhelming and so foreign. But then when I looked at it, I wasn't really getting
concrete
that.
Jungle. She's looking over a concrete jungle, essentially.
Yeah, but I didn't. I don't know. I felt like I was meant to be. I felt like I was being led to be going like, oh, this is just like assaulting the senses and wild and stuff. And it wasn't. I wasn't really getting that. And I don't know if that was
assaulting the senses in a different way.
Or...
I don't think you are supposed to look at Tokyo and be sort of in awe of it. I think you're supposed to feel lost or it's sort of almost daunting or whatever, because she does look out and it's just a vast expanse of buildings.
I meant like when she's in the car driving through when they're in the taxi and stuff. When the view from the hotel is fucking shit.
Yeah, I'll tip my hat for something else as well, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But
I don't think it's tipping your hand if we're talking about.
Well, it's relevant to mention it at this particular. Well, now the thing is, because when I get excited about a film, I can I'll write lots of notes and I'll flit all over the place, and then it doesn't make any sense. It is just easy to trash a film. It's easy to pick at a film. I find it more difficult. I don't
think it is. Well, okay.
I mean, I don't enjoy it necessarily. I feel the pressure of having to say, "Oh, why don't I like this thing that you like?" But I will say it's easier from a structure point of view to just reel off the list of things you think are shit. I really find it more difficult to go, I'm going to try and put together a coherent argument as to why this is a really good film. Yeah. So what I've done with my notes is I've got some notes on production, but a lot of my plot goes through in a much more linear fashion and harks back to production.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's sort of the way I've gone with it. But one thing I absolutely don't think this film about is Japan. Tokyo, the Japanese. It doesn't matter. To a point, it could be anywhere. The point is, it's not what they're comfortable with. It's different. So I am not looking for something that's amazing or colourful or whatever. It's just different. The point is that they feel alienated, lonely, lost. So for me, it wasn't a problem that I'm not finding anything. Oh, I expected this of Tokyo. I expected nothing. It's just not, not whatever they were expecting, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think again, it comes back to my expectations, I guess, and it wasn't necessarily being met. That when they were out in Tokyo, it felt like I was being led, as a viewer, it felt like I was being led to the way it was shot, because it pauses and dwells on things such as like the video game arcade, where they're all going around and it's very loud and noisy and stuff. And it feels like they're leading you to go like, isn't this different? Isn't this strange? Mm-hmm. Isn't this... I was just like, not really. Like, not especially. And I don't know if it was more strange and different in 2003 than maybe what we're experiencing now,
well,
which might
true.
be a valid...
20 years, yeah, 20 years.
A valid difference. And actually, I maybe when I first watched it, I was much more... we were maybe much more sheltered and didn't have as much access to the Japanese culture or even that side of things with the video games and loud and the arcades and things. Which I think.
All right, so you asked me about Sofia Coppola.
I didn't, but I mentioned she directed it.
Oh, okay, right. You said Sofia Coppola's name.
What do you think of Sofia Coppola, Carl?
And related to what you just said, I think she's primarily doing all of that. Oh, this is different with sound, right? Because it might not look different at arcade, but when you move through, from one scene to the next. It's very, very jarring, and it's very, very over the top compared to that quite contemplative scene that we had before. I think I already touched on what a shit actress she is. I think I couldn't tell you what else she's directed, but on the evidence of this, she is a fucking master. I love the opening. It absolutely gives me goosebumps. You know I love sound design or funky sound design.
Did it have 5 stars to lose as soon as you listened to it?
You know it. I think... you want to know what I've written next in my notes?
Oh, go on.
Like After Sun, from minute one. No, there was from the first opening scene, there's just something about this that is just a little bit off, and it's that sound design thing again. It's just a bit weird, and it grabbed me. I love seeing how it unfolds. Sometimes it's like, I don't know. Sometimes there isn't even a soundtrack or any sort of ambient noise. I just think throughout this film, she uses the sound so well. Like, it's quiet when it needs to be. It's loud when she wants to shake you up a little bit. It's fantastic.
Just
vibes. Obviously, we know you love vibes.
Yeah.
But she's just so deliberate in what she's doing with that sound to create that. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. Just going back to what else she has done and whether you've seen it. So the Virgin Suicides was the first.
Not seen it.
I feel like I have seen it, but it was in 1999. I mean, I reckon that was a film I probably watched on NTL or something like that on demand. You know, where you buy the movie and stuff. Because I reckon I would probably be all over that shit based on who I was at that time in life. And then apart from that, Marie Antoinette.
No, not seen it.
And the Bling Ring.
Not seen it.
No, I think I have seen that, and it was not very good. And most recently, Priscilla.
Not seen it.
Yeah. So yeah, you've not really seen anything. What I would, if I was Sofia Coppola, though, I would be having a word with IMDb, because you know what happens when you search for her?
What comes up?
Actress.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
She needs to get.
And you're just like, love, come on.
Yeah.
You're not selling yourself as an actress here. Come on.
That's not the best credit.
You read director, Lost in Translation. Sure. I mean, or writer, Lost in Translation. I think she won the fucking Oscar for.
Do you know as well, she was 31, so 29 when this has been filmed. I've wasted my life. Can you imagine doing something like that at 29?
No. I can't imagine doing anything like that, full stop. But particularly at that age.
As a 29-year-old?
I became a father at 29 years old, right?
You weren't ready for that?
No. Just
yeah.
Ridiculous.
And she's directing something that has the maturity of, like, you know, I don't know what, like, decades beyond that. Incredible.
Yeah. I've completely lost my place in my notes.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to jump in. So, just to one of the best examples of her sort of her chops in the production department, and we touched on this already as well. Bob's conversation with his welcome committee. It's full of verbal filler. It's full of those, like you said, those micro sort of like aggressions when he's feeling frustrated or like. I don't know, little sort of wisecracks. It's like, it's really mumblecore sort of thing. Love mumblecore. Feels very natural. He does all that. He's very, very awkward. He's just come off the plane. You know, he's tired. He's really showing off his acting chops there, is Murray. He's then lying in bed. So we've gone through that business, and he gets a moment of respite. And then the fax machine, the sound of which just absolutely cuts through, and it's so incessant.
It was so surprising to see a fax machine.
Yeah. And he's like, what? And then what comes through is the most mundane thing.
Yeah. About decorating, right?
Yeah, like a piece of furniture or something like that. And then we don't even give much attention to that. He doesn't reference that at this page. And the film just moves on. And I just love the whole deliberate thing of, like, we're going to wake him up now with this after. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And I think that is part of production, right, as well, because the era. You think 2003, fax machine is not the first thing that comes into my mind. You know, that was fucking years ago. Oh, wait. That was 21 years ago.
Yes.
Shit.
We old.
But like a fax machine, that's like crazy. And I think they did actually use the fax machine really well, because there's certainly something now that if you had to make the movie now, it would be a message on your phone, right? That's the only way you could do it. But the fax machine, the fact is like, and it's loud, it's offensive and obtrusive, and then it's just mundane shit. Yeah, it's pretty well done.
That's really good.
There's some of the stuff in the production. So there was moments where. Now I'm not going to use art housey in a negative way, because not all art house film is necessarily pretentious and shit and all of that.
Just make a confession.
Go on.
I don't really know what art house is.
Well, it's
use it as a byword for wankers.
Yeah, pretentious and shit.
Yeah, but we're on the same page. That's fine. Yeah.
I used to go to, when I was at university, there was an art house cinema, right, which played films such as Akira, which I fell asleep in. First movie and only movie.
Isn't that on your list of? Is it Miyazaki, whatever his name is?
No, not Miyazaki. It is Japanese animation, but it's not that one. But it's not Miyazaki.
Yeah, and you would know, by the way, after calling my film taste pretentious the other week. It's you that's got the list of fucking Japanese and Korean cinema down, and your Bollywood. And...
No, yeah, but that's not pretentious. That's just diverse. I can't help being a well-rounded individual.
Oh, good. I'm glad we've nailed that.
But I think there were moments for it where it came across like you're showing something in a way that I didn't get how it served it. Now I think if I give this to you, I think you'll be able to answer why it was like, so ridiculously mundane things, right? So when he goes to the pool for a swim, and they kind of focus on him diving in, he's doing a bit of swimming, and then they just watch these people doing like pool aerobics. And then they have this like underwater shot of the pool aerobics people and their legs moving and stuff, and he's just swimming. And I was just like, all right, what are we getting at here?
Because he's just killing time. Mm-hmm. He's got nothing to do. So the extent of his activities for that day are to just watch what's going on around him. That's what normal people do, right?
It's definitely what I do. On the work getaway, we were in the bar and everyone went to bed, and I was still had a bit of drink left, so just sitting and listening to other groups' conversations. One of my favourite things to do in life.
Yeah, but that's different. That's like...
But that is observing other people, and essentially you're not doing anything. There is no purpose to your being there.
But I think it hits slightly different than that in this movie, because that's you doing that for a bit of entertainment. He's doing it because there is literally nothing else.
Right, and I guess this comes back to, and I'm definitely going to speak more about this in the plot, but just on that, like, really? Like, is there really nothing else? Like, why is he so bored with it? Like, you're in a city. You could do fucking anything you wanted. Mm-hmm. Like, why is it so that it's just...
Indeed.
All right. We'll tackle this later.
No, but, like, that's the thing, isn't it? He doesn't want to do anything as much as he has nothing to do. Because that's just where he is. We've all been in the... No, look,
Speak for yourself.
I can't quite relate because I'm not his age and what have you. But we've all had moods where you just can't be asked to do anything.
Sure.
And he's just in a stage, he's just in a place in his life where that isn't so much a mood as a state for him,
Okay.
So what's on offer becomes irrelevant because he doesn't want to do it. He's not interested. He's just essentially marooned in this hotel in a foreign country,
We shall talk about more in the plot.
Yeah, well, I've not finished with production yet.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It felt like you'd wound down.
No.
Well, go ahead. I've got nothing else to keep going.
Well, I really like. I just call out a few things that I really like in particular scenes. The lip them scene.
You like that scene?
Nah, it's fine. But what I do like about that scene, and what makes it, and again it comes back to Murray's acting, is just his exasperated. Oh, for fuck's sake! When she falls on the floor. Because he's like, what are you talking? And then they get to some sort of, oh, right, okay. Goes through the motions, and then she chucks herself in that. Oh, for fuck's sake. He doesn't say that, but he does say that.
Yeah.
Really like that. Soundtrack we've touched on. It was very spaced out, disorientating, detached at times. Loved it.
What about the pacing, Carl? How do you feel about the pacing length generally, I mean, and as well? What's your thoughts?
I'm just so in this film. I don't know how long it is.
It's not long.
Yeah, it doesn't.
An hour 45-ish.
Doesn't feel like it.
I don't think it felt long. I don't think it dragged.
No.
I thought the pacing was fine. I didn't have any issues with it.
Yeah.
I quite like the slow, meandering pace. I'm fine with that. I didn't need more to be happening or anything like that. That definitely wasn't one of my issues.
Yeah. Mixing up slow contemplative moods with the salt and the senses when she goes for loud things. I've touched on that. More sound design. Okay, so this I thought was, and maybe I'm not right with this, but I feel like this isn't common. Background conversations. You don't hear them.
Right.
You hear a mumble. No, I mean you do hear them in this, but in general,
right? Yeah.
You don't hear them. You hear a mumble, but you can't tell what's been said. In this, you can actually pick out words. And I thought,
like in the bar scenes, is that what you mean? Like in the
well, it must be the bar because everybody else is speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
So it must have been the bar that I wrote this down. But I just love the realism of being able to pick up actual snatches of conversation, rather than just generic sort of background hubbub. I thought it was very, very cool. And I thought it contributed to the sort of that sort of realism and disorientating thing, because you are only picking up snatches.
Not something I noticed.
And I guess you wouldn't necessarily either, because the point is it's just supposed to feel real, sort of thing. Yeah. Just my final note on production. And when I initially reviewed this, I ended up having to go and write a fucking edit to my review because I read some other reviews. I was like, you're all idiots. I don't think this film is about Japan at all. It could have been Japan. It could have been anywhere. Right? You could have had any environment other than their own, obviously. So I'm just completely. I don't have much time for the sort of some of the stereotypes are offensive and all the rest of it. And again, I'm not going to say that some of the stuff they did isn't offensive to Japanese people. I'm just going to say, that's not the point. It's their environment. It's not a central tenet of the actual story. That's not what they're talking about and what they're trying to do. And if you're going to get hung up on that sort of stuff, that's you ruining the film for yourself. And where do you draw that line? Like, do you not like Cocktail because Tom Cruise did a shonky Jamaican accent or something? It's silly. It's like, well, obviously, yeah. I mean, it's not a great accent, but that's not the point.
To be honest, I was more offended by his Irish accent.
Well, exactly, yeah. Obviously that's taken it to extremes because this film's fully set in Japan. But I just think it's like, it's obviously a peripheral thing. It's an environment thing. Grow up. And I don't invalidate the criticism of anything they do there either. It's just like, okay, cool, but that's not the point.
I'm going to come back and loop back to that in the plot briefly, but I don't think I disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. Okay. That is a wrap on production. Is that your job?
That's fine. I do like the last word, but fuck you. Okay, we get to the plot. So, I think this is where I've maybe got the most notes of things. And I've kind of mentioned a couple of things I want to come back to a little bit. And I'm not saying I've got very strong points that are going to necessarily change your way of thinking, but I think,
I mean, look,
I think this is
I'll tell you
emphasising.
now, you ain't moving my fucking needle. Right.
Whoa! People will stop listening now.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, he might.
You never know. So, I started off quite liking this. Let's start at the beginning. I'm starting at the beginning of the movie here. So, I started off quite liking it. So, we've already talked about that bleary-eyed arrival into that unfamiliar city. Thought Murray was great. I liked the lead up to it. And then you get the other view with Scarlett's character. Charlotte,
Yep.
yeah.
Charlotte.
And like the loneliness that she's seeing, she's communicating on the phone call, and it feels really legitimate. And she goes to like travel. I might be getting this out of order, but she travels to like the Buddhist monk. It might not be Buddhists. She travels to that temple thing.
Yeah. She felt nothing.
It goes, I felt nothing, and she gets all like teary and things like that. And I was like, I'm really feeling this. I'm really feeling it. And Bill Murray's being quiet and quite low key, and you feel his detachment and his just. I was getting it. I was like, yes, I'm in this. I get it. I know where it's coming from. The depiction of jet lag, that hatred of the person sleeping next to you while you're lying there awake, and every little thing that just as you're about to drift off, he gets.
I don't know how much you get this film where you're just really grumpy. It's one of those things.
What do you mean?
You're identifying with those very specific bits about.
Oh, I mean, come on,
being
that's
annoyed
must
at
be a thing,
people.
right? But if you're there going like, I can't sleep, and someone's next to you going,
Yeah.
fuck off. You'd sleep quieter or fucking be awake.
Totally identify with, but you started off by saying, I'm getting this film. I was like, I think you're just a cunt.
Both things can be true.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
But it turned on me. I don't know, whatever you want to say it. And it started a little bit with, and this is looping back to what you said with some of the criticism that's been levied at. I'm not levying it being racist or it being.
Well, I think culturally insensitive.
Culturally insensitive. Yeah, culturally insensitive is better. Yeah. I just don't think some of the bits which I think were made seemed to be attempted to be humorous were actually very fun. Were like funny. So it did a couple of like, Japanese people are short. You know, he's like towering over people in lifts, and like,
he's really
the shower
tall.
head is
Bill Murray. He's really tall.
Yeah, well, fine. And like the shower head thing is like, and then the one scene, right? And this will form one of my changes. The one scene that just felt really out of place was like the cross trainer. You know, who's on the cross trainer?
Yep.
And he's getting faster and faster, and he's getting faster and faster, and he's didn't seem to fit in the same film as what it was. It was almost going like slapsticky. I didn't.
Yeah, but the point is, he was just alone.
Yeah, no, but why do that? You can be alone. You can be I don't know.
He's trying to help, and there's no one to help him. And yeah, there's a couple of tall scenes. I mean, he is quite tall, but the point isn't that Japanese people are small. The point is that he's different.
Okay,
that's the point. He's lost, right? He's the one that's out of place here. He's different. So yeah, sure, like it's a stereotype. But the point of it is to illustrate that he's out of place.
And then obviously Japanese people speak English with a funny accent.
Yeah.
And did that a few times. And
I did actually think you would think the moments of levity in this film were quite funny. So I'm a little surprised.
But I'm not gonna lie. Like there were bits of it that, and much of it was Murray's reaction to it.
Yeah.
And less of it was
I agree with that.
They speak funny. But like, for example, when he's doing the whiskey commercial thing, and you know, they speak loads, and then she just gives like the instruction.
Seemed like she said more than that.
Like that, I quite enjoyed that whole thing. And then when he's sort of saying like, you'd be like Roger Moore, more a Sean Connery. No.
Roger Moore.
And put your hand next to your face, and he's like, and like some of his cutting comments and stuff. I quite like that side of things. And
do you think that director hated Sean Connery because in Never Say Never Again, Sean Connery was made up to be Japanese in a sort of Team America,
that
and I don't look Middle Eastern.
Oh wait, no, that's not a third nipple one. That's another one, isn't it?
No, the third nipple is Man with the Golden Gun. That's Roger Moore.
That is Roger Moore.
So there you go. So do you think he hated Connery in Never Say Never Again, or he really loves nipples? So therefore, Roger Moore was his guy.
I'd like to think he really likes nipples.
Yeah.
Because, who doesn't like nipples?
Well, actually, we're going back to No Country for Old Men here, right? With the boy nipples. Go back.
So some of the humour didn't land. Some of it did, and I thought his dry sense of humour did. But the bit that made me...
You're just going to rattle all the way through the plot, okay? Right?
He's just getting another beer whilst I talk.
Do you want some again?
I was literally still just started the second beer, but it's fine. You crack on. Right, this is the last bit, and I'll pause so you can talk. Don't worry. So the bit that pissed me off, right, was the Charlotte character.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you said that you think they're not very nice.
Yeah, and this was a slow realization, but I was into they're lonely, they're detached and stuff, and then it was just like how long she been away in Japan? Oh, like 2 days. How long are they there for? Like a fucking week or like 10 days or something. It's just like, all right, get over yourself.
Yeah.
I became irritated at that portrayal and just spoiled little rich kid, ungrateful, miserable bastards. Just fucking make the most of it. But I do get, right, the loneliness is not a physical loneliness necessarily. It's that emotional loneliness, detachment, and not being associated with the people that you're with. But it felt somewhat self-inflicted. Now, I'm going to let you talk for a little bit. I've got more to say. But I will let you either reply or say some things that are good that you liked, particularly about the plot.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you completely derailed the way I was coming at this because I tried to keep this nice and linear so that I could actually make some sense on this one. But I guess that's not to be.
No, you just disregard. You just go ahead.
No, because there is a. I can speak to some of what you just said. I don't disagree with your assessment of Charlotte.
Just wait till I get to Murray's character.
I think that. Well, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say slightly missing the point because I agree. All those sort of flaws in her character are there, and so if you're going to get hung up on them, sort of like, well, yeah, fair enough. If she rubbed you up the wrong way, I mean, you are right. You're not supposed to focus on those because loneliness comes to all sorts of people. She also is very young. It's not explicitly stated how young she is.
You'd think
in the
early
film.
20s, right?
But the thing is, obviously, she is in a very different place to Bob.
Yes.
And so the point with her
emotionally
thing is sort of like, well, she's not emotionally mature.
No.
At all.
No, and actually there are some really good parts where that is shown.
Fantastic, because Bob is magnanimous throughout, I think. And while they're both lost and they are both in similar states, he allows her to get away with having little digs at him and being a bit more immature because he's like, yeah, it's just the way you are. Of course, you're just a kid. You can have those. He doesn't do that. He doesn't get snide with her. He's nothing but sort of understanding of her and just like very much more father-daughter than anything else.
Ooh.
So like, yeah, those flaws are there. And he knows that, and he accepts that, and he knows that's just because she's young, and I think that's how we're supposed to feel as viewers too. Yeah, she's young. She's a bit spoilt. That's not necessarily her fault. We probably shouldn't hold that against her, but we don't know. That's, So I say you're not really wrong if you've picked up on that and go, well, that's fucking annoyed me. I can't see past that. Whatever, but yeah, it's all right. Okay, let me go through this a bit more linearly, please. Thank you. The good thing there is
I just like that you're like, I've ordered my thoughts. It's going to make sense. And fuck.
Well, hang on a minute. I might have said it's going to make sense, but I'd like to strike that from the record. All right, so start at the beginning. Murray's opening scenes, I've touched on from a production point already. I love the greeting in the bar scene. I think he's acting his ass off in that. We touched on that in cast. Fantastic. He's not entirely unembarrassed to be in Tokyo, which I think is pretty key as well. I love how he sort of, and I think we all do this to a degree. He doesn't speak the language. He starts making jokes and little things. He's talking to himself a lot of the time, because it's like, well, they don't understand me. This is for me. This is so I don't feel stupid about getting misunderstood. They're chattering away. I'm going to chatter away, and I'm talking to myself. You know, I love how natural that feels. We've touched on again already in production the banality of his wife choosing furniture. He absolutely has. Oh, you've got
just on the carpets, the carpet samples.
Yes,
I like the burgundy. That was genuinely
which burgundy?
Yeah, where he just like spills them out onto the floor, and they're all basically burgundy.
It's really
I did
good.
like that.
It's sort of touching on as well how he treats Charlotte, his fans in the bar. He has no time for them whatsoever, but he's completely magnanimous. He just, even as he fucks off, he's just like, keep it up. Like he doesn't want to be rude, and his words and actions are not wanting to be rude, but his face is completely another. He's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I think it's really good. Johansen's intro again is really good too. I think she similarly is saying so much with so little. And again, all the production stuff that goes around that, the shots in the windows, very, very contemplative, yada, yada, yada. There's the bit where, like you say, she can't sleep, and he's snoring away.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing? Like, come back to sleep. And then she goes on to him, and she's like, oh yeah, go on then, this is nice. And then he gets fucking straight back off asleep, snoring away again. It's just like, oh, for God's sake. Like, just emphasising what a different place they're in. Not geographically, I mean, like, in terms of how at peace he is compared to her. I think it's all really good stuff. There's again talking about tone and sort of mood. Really love how those opening bits work. I think the first real burst of dialogue is actually Japanese. So we've had two contemplative, slow introductions, both pretty low on dialogue, and then suddenly we get someone. It's a chatter of Japanese, and which I think is great. Murray's face again, excellent in that, and I just think this film constantly manages to bring home how out of place they are in this world. And again, they're not really talking about Japan; they're talking about like where they are in life as well. That's what I think.
So you talked about how Charlotte's husband is a wanker.
John, yep.
Yeah. Explain.
He's completely insensitive to
what?
To what she needs from him. So she's accompanied him. Now, we don't know whether he's dragged her along or whether she wanted to go.
Seems like the latter.
But he completely cuts her out of stuff as well. He just, you wouldn't want to come. You'd be better off staying here. And then when they bump into what is essentially an ex, right, for him, he's just like, gives no fucks as to how she might feel about that. And, he just goes off sort of chatting away and partying with her or whatever, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. And he at no point does he ever go, oh, I wonder if she might feel a bit put out by this. Like, he's completely insensitive to her. But you don't.
No, I didn't not.
I did not.
No, like, it's I got insensitivity or that side of things to her situation, but it was also a bit from the other side of just like, yeah, dude, like he's trying to he's come away to work and do his thing. Like you can also meet him a little bit halfway here.
Sure, but that's not what the film's telling us, though, because the film puts together some dialogue where she's worried about not feeling anything at the temple and feeling lonely calling home and getting short shrift, right?
Yeah. Who was that she was on?
I think it was her mum.
Right, yeah, bitch.
But the point is, she gets short shrift. The film's saying, yeah, she's isolated, she's got no one to talk to. And then she immediately goes on to talk about John and how he's discovering new hair products. That's nothing to do with his work. That's just like, no, he's completely at peace here. And he has absolutely not even noticed that his missus is...
After 2 days.
Absolutely lost. Yeah, whatever. I mean, you can say that, but like, he hasn't even noticed. That's the thing with him. He's so self-absorbed.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, yeah.
She might be...
She's very self-absorbed as well, though.
Yeah. I don't know if self-absorbed's quite the right way. I mean, she is flawed in that way. But she knows what he's got going on. She's noticing that at least. I don't know if self-absorbed's right. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like, she doesn't go, oh, yeah, but we are here to work.
Yeah. I don't think there are any nice characters in this. Not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not... Yeah. You know when you're going like, oh yeah, I can relate or identify and stuff, and I do. You've mentioned it a few times, the word flawed and flaws and things, and I feel like
flawed,
that. I do feel like that the movie is that is what they're going for, right? It's showing it's trying to go for a realistic human, full of flaws, full of that. I mean, me, you, I have one or two flaws, Carl. I mean. You may have noticed. I don't know. No? No, that's fine.
I don't think so.
It's fine. But I think that's obviously what they're trying to go for. It's trying to go for real and flawed. But just at times, like, it crossed that line from the real flawed character to actually, unpleasant, irritating character.
But the film is about happiness and or relationships, though.
Well, this goes back to my question of what you think the film.
Well, I tell you what, it isn't about John's job.
John's job? No, it's not about John's job.
No, so once you can go like, well, yeah, but she needs to realise that he's here to work.
Yeah,
we only show a few seconds or minutes out of each one of the days she's there. So the film is choosing to focus on the bits where he neglects her. It doesn't need to balance that by going, but what about all the times you weren't sympathetic to the pressures of his work? Because that's not what the film's about, obviously.
Hashtag right? Team John.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes, there's a flaw there, but the idea that we're going to try balance this up is, I think, a little disingenuous.
So the other bit that I have no time for, right? I don't have time for midlife crises.
You see, this is where you think I just think he's old. You've got him midlife.
Well, she calls out, right, midlife crisis, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I've just not got there yet. Maybe it will come. I think like midlife crisis is basically an excuse for selfish assholes to be selfish assholes, and I don't know. And this is where it came to me when I was thinking about each of the characters becoming increasingly unpleasant as I thought more about them. Like Bob. The woe is me. I'm rich, successful, with a family, and just don't need me as much as they used to. And he's not needed as much in his career either because he's slightly past it. He's not quite what he wants to be or what he thinks he should be anymore. Everything's not revolving around him. It's like, all right. And actually, I'll give him more of a pass than her. She's a fucking young, annoying person of that age. That is just what they are. They are like. He actually has some moments of reflection on his, particularly in that scene we're talking about where they're on the bed and talking, and he's actually going through, and it feels like he's about, it always feels like he's about to go like, oh, fucking kids ruin your life, Jesus Christ. But he doesn't. He goes, things get more complicated.
He doesn't think kids ruin your life.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it almost feels like he's going to go in that direction, but doesn't. And I like that how he changed it. I rewatched that scene after I'd rewatched the film.
But
as well.
He doesn't put his problems on anyone else. Even when he's in the bar and he's no time for his fans coming up to him, he's still nice to them as he excuses himself. Not in his face, but to what they hear and see. That, when his wife is completely absorbed in picking furniture swatches or whatever, instead of wondering how he's doing in a foreign country. And, okay, we don't see him going back to his wife going, what have you got going on? But that's not what the film is about. We're not talking about his relationship and trying to balance who's getting the raw deal here. The film is focusing on those two. So everything's from their perspective. Yeah. And what we see is we don't see him put his problems on anyone else, right? Now, she does slightly, Charlotte, because she has a couple of jibes at people and she is a bit more spoilt. But he appreciates that, well, yes, you're young, You're allowed a few missteps. You're allowed to not quite be sensitive. He gets it. He doesn't put his problems onto anyone else. So he dutifully responds to his wife with the furniture swatches. He indulges that. He doesn't really mind that she. He does mind, but he doesn't push her on. Are you not going to ask how I'm doing or how's it going or whatever? He just keeps going because this film isn't about his marriage. It's about his and the two people involved in that. It's about his just state. And I think it's weird to say he's been
What's
sort
the state?
of like...
What state?
He's just lost.
Lost in what way?
He just doesn't know where he's at with his life, if he likes it, where he's going, what it's all been for. He's just lost. It's not trying to assess whether his marriage is sort of functional and who's getting the raw deal.
Just fucks the singer.
It's not about the... Well... It's not about the two of them. It's not about their relationship. It's just about his sort of state and where he's at.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little. Still grabs me as like he's being like navel gazing, self-centered, arsehole kind of thing of just like, you do have a family back home. You do have a wife. You do have a child or children whose birthday you forgot. Whilst you're doing, let's face it, not exactly strenuous work that he's getting on here. It's not.
It's also not work he wants to do, though.
It's not. No.
He could be doing that to pay the bills.
He could be doing a play.
Yeah, but he can't do a play because the adverts pay so much more. They make reference to that.
Yeah. Well, he's probably earned enough money, right?
Yeah, but we don't know, do we? The point is, we know that he's there and he feels uncomfortable about being there and he'd rather be doing something else.
Mm-hmm. No.
So then you can take from that, and I do, he's not doing that for him. Because at no point does he ever give you reason to believe, when I get paid this $2 million, I'm going to go fucking blow it on a Ferrari or anything like that. Right?
He did think about getting a Porsche, though.
No, she says that.
Yeah, but
and she says that as a dig, and he indulges her dig.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That was just a little callback to a line. Carl.
Oh, very good. Yeah. I mean, I think you've sort of accidentally illustrated my point there. Is that he isn't thinking about getting a Porsche. He's, it's not for him why he's there. It's not to say that he's got a hard life, but that's like saying rich people can't have problems. You're lucky. You've got all this money, so you can't be unhappy. Which is actually something I agree with. So there's a problem here.
There we go. All right, let's. Have you got much more? I want to. The last thing I have is about the ending. I'd like to know your
let me have a
thoughts. I know your thoughts a little bit, but I want to know your thoughts a bit more.
Let me have a look down here. So I've mentioned this already. I think.
Well, don't fucking mention it again.
I think
We've been over
their
this.
relationship is very father-daughter.
Well, right. Mm-hmm. Okay. You think it's father-daughter both ways?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. No, I don't think. No. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the questions I had, like from the start, right? In terms of what this is about and how you describe it, right? How would you describe when you're like, as in like genre of movies that you are talking about? How would you have done that introduction if you are introducing or describing Lost in Translation in a simple, basic way?
I think I hesitate to give it a genre. I think I would say it's about two lost people and possibly about happiness. Although that's not necessarily where they get to, but I think it's that sort of pursuit of happiness. If you want me to be really wanky, I'd say it's about the human condition.
I saw that in your Letterboxd thing at the end of, as I was doing my... I don't look at your Letterboxd reviews until I'm doing my last little bit and doing the Letterboxd things, and I go, I'll just have a look at see what Carl did. And he said the human condition.
So I think...
Hence why I said you might come up with something that sounds very wanky, Carl, like the human condition.
Have you not seen the human condition?
I don't know what
it's a film, The Human Condition.
No. What is the human condition?
Well, I've not seen it, mate.
No.
It's on my list.
Very good. But what do you mean when you say the human condition? Just genuine.
Just about how people exist in the world. So I'll give you another example, right? Another Round.
Oh yeah.
People talk about that film like it's a funny film, like a dark comedy about alcoholism. I don't think it's about alcoholism at all. I think that is merely a plot device. I think it's mostly that film about happiness. Not too dissimilar to this film in a lot of ways, because it's about people who don't quite know where they're at, just trying to find their place in the world, and not a fucking physical, what's my job? But like, where are we going? Where are we headed? What's it all about? Which relationships should I value, prioritize? What's actually important? Versus what fucking job you're doing, or what hobbies do you fill your time with, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I've genuinely not seen the film The Human Condition. I don't really know what that's about, what people mean. But to me, I just think, well, existing and like, what brings you happiness and purpose and what have you. And for me, this film is about people who don't know, for different reasons. There are different sides of the arc of life, right, of adulthood. They don't know, and they've just run into each other. And it's not a romantic relationship, I don't think, in that sense, because they've just found that, and they're like, we're in the same place. I wonder if we could just find a little bit of this.
And the reason I ask, right, is because I look at the descriptions of this movie, and use IMDb, which obviously uses large buckets in which to categorize things, which is fine. A coming of age comedy drama.
Nope.
A fading movie star falls for a lonely young woman in Tokyo.
Nope.
And I think I see a fair bit of the romance angle, right? That it's a romantic comedy or a romantic film. I
mean, it's romantic in the...
Not in the...
Yeah, in the sense of like that, there's a certain romance in the feelings and what have you, but not in the sort of relationship, almost sexual sense, for want of a better way of describing it.
So let's jump to the ending then. And I know where you sit on these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I'm with you.
And I'm at pains to say as well, this is not a bit, right? This is not this is not a thing to be like, oh, well, actually, I don't have any opinion.
No, it doesn't fucking matter.
It absolutely doesn't matter.
Just like we're talking about Anatomy of a Fall, right? Well,
100%.
Does it matter? No, That's not what that's not what it's about. Now, having said that, I think the film missteps somewhat in that it almost comes across as like, oh, it's an intentionally mysterious, ambiguous ending, with the whisper, right? But then, and I'm fine with the whispery thing and stuff. What I was uncomfortable with was like the kiss that comes afterwards. And I don't remember that before. Like from original watching, I remembered the whispering and then the departing. And I was like, ooh, okay, I like that. That's, you know, you don't know what he said. You don't need to know what he said. It doesn't matter what he said. But it's like, okay, I like that. I didn't remember him like planting a kiss on him, which, by the way, apparently was a surprise to Scarlett Johansen during the filming, which is... but yeah, I don't know. I felt like the kiss undercut the nice, quite ambiguous, didn't need the clarity thing, and then it sort of undercut. It was like, oh.
I don't think you have to make that sexual, though.
I don't know.
I mean, I kiss my daughters on the lips, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, but you've known your daughters for many years.
It's just not the, it's just not the same thing. And when I saw her, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So, there's two little moments, and you've already touched on one of these when he puts her to bed. There's a lovely little detail where just as he's leaving her, he grabs her shoulder. And then we have a similar one when they're in bed talking about life and what have you.
Grabs a foot.
Grabs
a foot.
Well, she puts her toes on him first. She puts her feet out on him, and I recognise that behaviour because she's just looking for like that connection, that contact.
Oh yeah, no.
Right. Yes. I recognise that behaviour in a different way. And he appreciates that. He just he reaches down for a pat and a stroke. And it always came across very, very father-daughter to me. And similarly, when they were embracing, to me it just seemed very natural that he should. Yeah, it's almost like you tip over and go, well, the only thing now is we just have to have a lovely kiss, you know. It doesn't mean that he wants to fuck her. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's odd because like people have very much gone from the sexual romantic side of things, right? And it's I've seen a few reviews who are like, well, obviously I know why he wants to get with her. She want to get with him. And I'm not saying I necessarily got that side of things. I wasn't overly concerned with it. It didn't seem like there were points where they were kind of like flirty, stranger talking bits at times, but nothing that was overtly sexual. I don't know. The kiss is the bit that just felt unnecessary and awkward. Like it felt like that was a perfect whisper hug moment. Walk away. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I just didn't see. For me, let's say that they meant that to be sort of sexual or expressing his desire for her in that way. That would be so out of step with the rest of the film and their relationship. To me, it seemed... So if you watch that scene, maybe it's come back to not really getting into the film. So then if you watch that scene and you're not quite in it, or you watch it... Yeah, if you just watch that in isolation, you're like, oh, this old man is trying to fuck that young lady. But for me, you watch... If you're in it, you watch the rest of it and you just think, well, it's just... No, there's nothing in that sense. Yeah, didn't get that at all. Oh, that's annoying. I was going to say something that was related to that, and now I've forgotten. Good, as you were.
That'll do.
Yeah. Well, I do have one more thing.
Oh, Jesus. I literally said, do you have anything else? Can we go to the end?
Did you say that?
Yes.
I don't hear you when you say that.
Go on.
No.
I feel like this has gone on for about an hour.
What time are we on? Yes.
That's where we need a producer to actually edit this fucker.
Oh yeah. I wonder if anyone wants to volunteer.
Christ, you tried to get volunteers to do fucking anything. Impossible.
Yeah.
Arseholes.
We could pay them.
I can't get people to do stuff for a charity. There's no chance you're going to be able to do it for a fucking podcast.
No, they'll need to be paid. We could pay them a percentage of the profits.
Ah, yes, 100%. They can have 100% of the profits.
Why do they want to box ourselves in? No, go on, I've got nothing.
Okay. Oh, well, good. I'm glad we paused.
Yeah, it was worth it, that wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we move on to any changes. So up to 3 changes that we would like to make. Carl, I'm going to start with you.
Nope.
No changes?
None.
None?
None.
Wow. None?
None.
Wow. Okay. I haven't got a lot either. So mainly because I forgot to write it down. I've already written one down. But I mean, I've already literally just mentioned it. Get rid of the kiss. I don't need it. The hug is fine. I felt it undercut it. You've explained why it didn't. You really don't need to cover that again. But there we go. The other thing I would get rid of is the what's it called? Cross trainer scene. I think you can do that. The I'm alone. If that's what we're going for there. There's no one around. He cries for help. There's nothing. I feel like that could be done in a different way that is less like, I don't know. Seems like it's going for a cheap laugh unnecessarily. And I don't know. I think that's probably about it. Like, I think I didn't like the characters. I think you've kind of, you know, I can see your point of view where you're coming from with that in terms of she's young. That's kind of her deal. He's old. That's kind of his deal. It doesn't necessarily matter. So I'll leave it at those 2. Okay. This is why you're wrong. Our closing statement from each of us. And we're going to lead off with Carl.
It's difficult for me because I really like this film, but then I realised that I really hate rich people. They don't have any real problems. I love that. So I'm wrong.
Accidentally moved your needle. That'd be funny.
No. So, funnily enough, do you know what? The first time I watched this, I didn't quote unquote get it.
No, okay. Did you watch it back in like
no,
2003 releasing?
So I watched this maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I watched it. I thought, yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
And do you know what? I probably was on my phone. When I watched it the second time...
do you watch movies whilst on your phone?
Generally not, because I really don't like to not pay attention to a film when I'm watching it.
It's almost disrespectful.
Yeah, generally not. But yeah, maybe I was that day, don't know.
Pause it. Check your phone.
Well, yeah.
Go for it.
You know, so... But yeah, the second time through... Was I just not on my phone? Was I in a better mood? Don't know. Got it. It got me. I like all the production stuff about it. I think that's kind of missing the point. Although the production being good does serve to sort of implement what I think is really good about the film. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you can't really disconnect it. But yeah, to tell you you're wrong, I'm just appealing to sort of different part of you. I think it's a very touching story about 2 lost souls just finding a bit of solace with each other, not necessarily for the rest of their lives, just in this moment. And I'm definitely not asking you to go, is it fair that they feel like this? Because the film's not about that. We're not trying to look at their place and weigh their needs up against anybody else's. We're just with them in that moment. So the only thing I can really say is, if you don't find that touching, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, and I didn't. That's the problem, right? That I didn't in any way find it it didn't like touch the emotions in any way for me. The one bit that it kind of, I think, and I've come back to this a couple of times, was the scene on the bed where I felt a genuine, almost like connection to what they were saying. I don't know, and that's it's quite surprising. And I think the best bit, the thing you said earlier, quite near the beginning of this 5 hours ago when we started this podcast, was that you said that actually writing notes and experiencing the film in that way is probably one of the worst ways to do it, and actually just going along with it and being swept up in it and being able to feel it in that way would be better. Now, so I did watch this film back in, I watched it on release. I remember watching it at cinema in Manchester at university. I'm pretty sure. And I remember thinking it was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I was expecting, I said at the beginning, I was expecting to be coming around a lot more than what I was, and actually be going like, oh, this is definitely going to be a needle mover here. The car's not going to do much for me. And to be fair, you've raised some very, very fair points with in terms of the motivations and the general themes and what it's not about versus what it is about. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, well, I do think this format is very bad for a film like this. And also, this goes for any film that we watch. You've just got to be in a particular mood for a film. And that's less important with certain films than it is others. But, you can watch a film in one sort of mood on a certain day, and it just doesn't hit home, whatever the genre.
Yeah.
And this format, I think, is just particularly bad for a film like this. So it's tough, really. It was easier for me because I already was so sure that I loved this film. So the exercise of rewatching it is very, very different for me. I'm not surprised that if you're a bit more ambivalent, you're like, it's tougher.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I can't honestly even entertain the idea that you might move my needle on.
It's always. I mean, it's always really difficult with a really like full stop, right? Because you're already invested so much that seriously, what am I going to be able to say that's actually going to change your mind from that as well?
Manchester by the Sea. The reason I have not
watched it.
Manchester by the Sea, rewatched. The reason I have not watched Manchester by the Sea is related, right? Because I am aware...
It's not that depressed yet.
Yeah. I'm aware of the sort of subject matter, the sort of the feeling of that film. You've got to be in the right mood for that film.
Leeds lost in the playoff final towards the end of last. A perfect opportunity.
It's fucking old that, mate.
Perfect
we
opportunity.
Always lose playoff finals.
I know, but it's like, surely you're like constantly in the mood.
Yeah, I should have watched it when we sacked Marcelo Bielsa. That's what I should have done. Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, it's that sort of thing, right? I'm not going to watch that film until I can be in the right frame of mind to watch it. And I'm certainly not going to be fucking taking notes when I watch that film. It's not right.
No. Oh, I don't think the first time you watch a film you should ever make notes.
No, that'd be weird.
Sorry, critics.
Yeah, well, that's why they're all wankers.
It must be horrible, though.
Yeah. Surely they watch it twice. You have to watch it twice.
I say fucking horrible, like it's not a bad job.
Yeah.
But
I'd love that job, but they're all wankers.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's any needle moving going either way for this one by the sounds of it. But hey, that's how it goes.
That is how it goes.
Okay, let's finish things off with the data section. So, some ratings. What do you reckon the IMDb is for this car?
IMDb, let's go 7.4.
Ooh, higher, 7.7.
Oh, okay.
So, therefore, what do you think the Letterboxd is if it's 7.7?
Well, you would often go lower, but with it being a bit, dare I say it, wankier, I could see this being like a 4-star.
It's a 3.8. So it's literally right in the middle.
Yeah,
really.
very similar then.
Yeah. It was lower than I expected. I thought there would be more generous, more unanimous love for it, but no. I mean, it's one of the more mixed ones you see in terms of the popular. You look at popular reviews on Letterboxd, where it's like there is a lot of the it's brilliant, it's great, and then there's a lot of the don't get it. No.
It's too easy to not get.
Yeah,
Which I don't
true.
say. I don't say.
I know what you mean.
To be snippy.
Yeah.
I understand it. It's too easy to not get.
Where's the fucking car chase, Carl?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. Critics, what do you reckon they liked? What do you reckon they thought? Sorry.
I would think critics would like it.
So where you put it on the
You going
100
for
point
like a
scale?
Metascore thing?
100 point scale, yeah.
Let's say. Well, mind you, hang on a minute, because we're already up at like 77 and 73 or whatever it was on IMDb. No, fuck it. Yeah, let's go. Like critics were like 80% of those.
91.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see that. I think it's definitely.
I know. I hate siding with the critics as well because they're all wankers.
But I think it does fit in that way. Where is it on yours, Carl? Your Letterboxd. I mean, I've already looked, so I know.
It's a 5-star. It's got the heart.
It's a 5 with a heart. I mean, have you rated anything on this podcast with the 5 and a heart?
I'm
struggling to think of 4.5. I think we've got
Death of Stalin.
Is that a 5?
Yeah, Death of Stalin.
There we go. So I'd rate it a 2.
That's ridiculous. I mean, even from a technical perspective, that is absolutely ridiculous.
You keep telling me not to. You shouldn't be rating on this.
Well, look, I did say that for this, but I said that's not where the real key to enjoying this film comes from. But 2 stars is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a little bit angry about it when I was thinking about it.
Yeah, well, you're an idiot.
Well, it happens. We'll see. It might creep up on further reflection. We never know. Nominations. So nominated for 4 Oscars. Any ideas which one you would nominate it for?
Best Director. Do you want to know a horrible fact about Best Director?
Sofia Coppola?
Only the 3rd woman
I know, right?
to be nominated for Best Director.
Which is, I mentioned off air, I was like, we could go in a really interesting, in-depth direction here that I'm not prepared to go. And I'm not prepared as in not willing, but not prepared as in I don't have the knowledge and experience to talk about.
2000 and what was this?
3.
How that should be such a stark thing. Of, oh my god, she's only the. Oh my word.
Yeah, crazy.
We've work to do here, lads.
Isn't Halle Berry still the only black woman to have won Best Actress?
Oh Christ, probably. Yeah.
It's just like, okay, fine.
I mean, that's wilder than directors, just on a pure numbers basis.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah.
So yeah, director lost out to Peter Jackson for Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, which you've not seen. But that was very much a congratulations for your trilogy award.
Yeah.
Best Picture, it was nominated for.
Yeah.
Again,
got
lost
to be
out.
best. Oh yeah, go on.
Again, lost out to Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Return of the King.
It's got to be nominated for best sound, surely.
No. Only 4 nominations. So we've got Best Picture, Best Director. What else you got? You think?
Cinematography after that?
No.
Supporting?
No.
Oh, fucking hell. Go on.
Lead actor for Murray.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Lost out to Sean Penn, Mystic River.
Not seen it.
Have seen it. Didn't leave an impression on me. Again, this was back at university when I actually watched movies in the cinema a lot. But yeah, couldn't tell you because that was fucking 21 years ago. Can't remember. And then original screenplay.
Okay. Yep.
For Sofia Coppola.
Yeah.
And won that one.
Oh,
so
okay.
She was the first woman to be nominated for writing, directing, and producing in the same year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came up against in the original screenplay, Finding Nemo.
Good screenplay.
Yeah.
Good screenplay.
Surprising to see it though. Still. You know what I mean? It's like even back then. You remember we
very
did like
good
the animated film was the first like 2001, I think, with Shrek and whilst we were talking about something
Toy
else.
Story, probably. No, it was 97.
No, it
Toy Story.
wasn't. I don't know why we were covering. Oh no, I don't know why we were covering this. Have we done an animated film? We did Spirited Away.
Yeah,
I think it was that year, wasn't it? And yeah. So it's like, Finding Nemo. That's when they started going like, these are real movies.
Yeah, there's actually
people involved in making these films.
That's right.
Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it won Oscar.
I'm pleased she got an Oscar, even though I hate awards like that. But
yeah. But there we go. Rewatchability.
I'm going to say yes. I've seen it 4 times. It's just
4.
Yeah, it's just not a thing you can say. Oh, I'm just going to pop this on. So that's
Again,
the only thing that's saying stopping me saying very yes.
Yeah.
You've got to be in the mood.
I started on a yes, but then I moved to a meh. For that reason, I think it's not an everyday kind of just whack it on kind of thing.
It isn't. Yeah, it isn't.
Yeah. Best scene, Carl. What's your best scene?
It is the lying on the bed scene.
I did start with that, but that's a really long scene.
Yeah.
And there's parts of that scene that I don't love. I really love the end part of that scene where they're lying together, but that whole scene actually starts with them drinking wine, I think, in the weird square things.
It's really good. I love it. I mean, I could say the end scene because I think it's magic, that end scene, but I think the lying on the bed is the tenderest moment between the two.
There's 2 others I want to call out. So there's at the restaurant where you cook your own food, where she's pissed off with him for sleeping with the singer, and he calls her on it basically, like that he has not getting the attention that she deserves and stuff, and that she wants. And I quite like that.
Well, I like that because that was a reminder to Scarlett Johansen's character that he's got a bit of something there, but she's still stuck with her sort of thing.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed. She was jealous, but not necessarily because she wanted to fuck Bill Murray again. Don't think that's what's going on. I think she was jealous of the attention.
Yeah, well, which is what he calls out, right?
Yeah.
But my favourite scene, I think, was in the hospital where Bill Murray is sitting in the waiting area and talking to trying to communicate, I should say, with the woman. But the funniest bit is just the 2 women behind who are just absolutely pissing themselves at the attempt of them going on, and then what the Japanese woman was saying, and they're just like. I just love the background acting in that. I genuinely made me laugh. I enjoyed it. Best quote, Carl. Difficult one.
Well, not for me. I've got a funny one as an honourable mention, which is, "Am I drinking as soon as I'm done?"
Yes.
In his what does he say? Dean Martin. Dino. This is more like Dino. Commercial thing. But no, the one I like, again, because it speaks to the heart of this film, is, "You'll figure that out. I'm not worried about you."
Yeah. So mine's a long one. But the quote is also long as well. So, well, you figure.
What do you mean? I don't get it. What, have I missed a joke here? What's going on?
It's just long.
What's long?
Penis.
What?
Penis.
Pardon?
Penis is long.
Not even got the confidence to follow through his fucking joke.
Joking about penis.
Let tell you all you need to know.
Giant cock. That's all I say. It's a lie. I'm sorry. It's really small.
Yeah.
It's just thin.
God, you wilted there, didn't you?
That's what she said. So best quote. It is a long quote, but it's when they're talking about how long he's been married for, and he says, "Well, it's like 25 years."
Yeah.
So, well, you figure he sleeps 30 of your life. That knocks off 8 years of marriage right there. So you're down to 16 and change, and you're just a teenager marriage. You can drive it, but there's still an occasional accident. Quite like that. That's pretty good.
That's a good scene as well.
And the other, that's all part of the same thing. Right? It's that one very long scene where it's like, is that favourite scene? It's quite a long scene to call that. I did quite like the quote as well. "Enjoy my jacket, which you stole from me."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a nice one. Worst quote,
Worst
which
quote.
we don't do. But I re-listened to it because I watched this bit again. It's part of that same scene. No, it's not. It's not part of that same scene. Cancel that. But when the Scarlett Johansen character says, "Let's never come here again because it would never be as much fun."
Okay, don't remember it. Yeah, I can get on board with that as worst quote. Yeah,
It just sounded really weird. Like, it didn't fit in.
it's also kind of
stilted
spoon
and
feedy,
shit
isn't
and-
it? It's
yeah.
like, obviously it wouldn't be. This is supposed to be transient. You'd have bent.
Favourite character I struggled with. Didn't like either of them particularly much.
Oh well, I mean, because we're not allowed to go for main characters, I've gone
tricky.
for Anna Faris's character.
And yeah.
Just because I thought John was an arsehole, an insensitive arsehole, and she had the grace to only be dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb and fun.
Dumb and fun. Yeah. That's what we want. Tearjerker?
I'm gonna save my very yes again. Because I feel like, a little bit in line with what you were saying, it's not the most serious problem in the world. Because they will be all right, but I think yes.
Did it jerk some tears?
Not this time when I was sitting around making. I don't cry at films, Simon. I feel we should get this on the record.
You have.
Shh.
Okay. Yeah, it was a no from me.
Yeah, but you're dead inside.
We've covered that. A jerker, gratuitous nudity.
Well, bar her pantied arse in the opening, I think we have to say
No.
very no.
Yeah.
There's not actually any nudity, I don't think, is there?
No.
I will say, though, I'm a bit perplexed why they showed her arse at the start.
It's a weird choice, isn't it?
I don't know what they were going for there.
I mean, it's eye-catching.
Didn't bother me. I
I'm
was
fine
just a
with
bit
it.
like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, because it became pretty iconic at the time of the release in terms of
Don't know
that
what
was
they're going
its-
for.
yeah.
It's fine, whatever.
We move on to our top three, Carl, and the theme for today's top three was female-directed movies. And the reason why I was saying before that I think we've kind of stumbled on a very deep topic that's probably quite ripe for some in-depth discussion, which I'm not prepared, as in I don't have the information to actually go into detail, because I started looking, as I do with these things, just to give myself a bit of, if nothing's coming to mind, if nothing springs up,
Yeah.
Google, have a little Google around different lists and things like that, have a little look around. It seems like female-directed movies started about 8 years ago, generally.
No.
There wasn't, and I mean in terms of prevalence and number of volume and stuff.
Maybe
It's definitely increased over the last 20 years.
Yeah, maybe I can relate to this a little bit from a slightly different angle. The thing I noticed when I was looking down, I haven't seen a lot of them, is very much quality over quantity now. Because when I had seen one on the list of films, I think, oh yes, that's good. Very, very few did I look at and go, yeah, I've seen that and I didn't like it.
Can I take a guess at two of your top three?
Well, I was just about to say, two of my top three have got 5 stars.
And were they in the last year?
Yes.
Was it After Sun and Anatomy of a Fall?
Oh, no. Well, Anatomy of a Fall's not directed by a woman, is it?
I thought it was. No?
But no.
Is it not?
It didn't come up on my searches. I didn't expressly search for
Okay, but After Sun's on there then.
Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah, After Sun's on there. After Sun is my number 2.
Number 2, okay. I mean, it's directed by Justine Triet, so unless Justine is a man.
Well, I now have a number 3 because I did not rate after Anatomy of a Fall 5. I rated 4.5.
Okay.
But my number 3 was Point Break.
Oh, Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow, who's done, what was it, Zero Dark 30?
Yeah.
What's the one on the, is it a submarine or a ship or something? Is it K-19? Did she do that?
I feel like we've covered this before, haven't we? We've
Yeah.
talked about K-19.
She's done, she must be a rarity, a
I'm not
director
sure what
of
she's
action.
done recently. if she's still cranking.
So I had that. Yeah, Point Break's really cool. You could have had American Psycho, which I really
the original, just to point out.
Oh God, not the high octane shite that is the remake.
Why did they remake? I just don't understand.
We've had that conversation.
I think we have, yeah.
So fair enough. Yeah, well done. Number 3, Anatomy of a Fall.
She directed The Hurt Locker. Why did I?
Yeah, Hurt Locker. Yeah. Number 2, After Sun.
Yeah.
My number 1 is this film. Now, only because I've seen it 4 times. Do you know what? Rewatch After Sun. I could move After Sun up.
Yeah. Right. So I've got a 2.5. I've got a top 2.
You could only find 2.
No. I've got 4
because you hate.
So
women.
I'm trying to. It's irrelevant. So I've got. I don't even know what my number 1's going to be. Right now, I've got a. I don't know if this is a. I need to rewatch this, but I'm going to go for it. Right. Number 1.
Yeah.
American Psycho.
Yeah, good.
From Mary Harron.
Yeah. Great film.
Never fucking heard of Mary Harron, though. You?
Of course you have. She directed American Psycho.
Yeah. But there we go. The Hurt Locker, Catherine Bigelow. So another Bigelow one. Really enjoyed Hurt Locker. Zero Dark 30. I didn't think that was the one I missed off. I had the Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
I forgot about Zero Dark 30.
Good film.
But I think I enjoyed the Hurt Locker more. And then I was between Anatomy of a Fall and Past Lives, which I recently watched, and I'm liking more and more the more I reflect on it.
Not seen it. It's on the list.
Might need to rewatch it again. So I'm like, that's the reason why it's like, no, I don't know, it's creeping up there. But I'm going to go for Anatomy of a Fall for now because that was a first watch. 9 out of 10.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, very good. And Past Lives is creeping the more and more I think of it.
Yeah.
And I keep, when people say, oh, you watched recently, okay, Past Lives is really good, you should really watch it, you should really, and I was like, maybe I like it more than I...
yeah, that can happen sometimes, can't it? Something stays with you regardless of what you thought of it at the time.
But yeah, I think it might be worth revisiting, looking at, because there was a lot of these movies I was looking at I've watched recently that have come up. So Bottoms, we mentioned that one. That was a female directed one.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what you get, what you feel from that. And there's a few other ones. So obviously you've got the oh my god, what's her name? She did Barbie and she did
Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
You wouldn't remember because you hate women.
Yeah.
And we've done this.
But she did Lady Bird as well, which I remember really liking when I was watching that. So yeah, I think this might be one we revisit a bit more depth. Anyway. There we go. You got anything else for us?
Nope.
Okay, well then that is all we've got. So if we did move the needle for you, if we didn't, please do rate, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening to us. Leave a 5-star review. It really does circle the areola of the algorithm and get us over to a larger, more pro-choice audience. So our Twitter and Instagram is MTN Movie Pod. You can also find our page on Facebook. Details can be found in the show notes. We've got our YouTube channel, Movie the Needle, at Movie the Needle, and we're also occasionally on TikTok. Yeah. So from me and Carl, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.
If that doesn't make us go viral, I mean, I don't know what.
How do we do an audible wink that you just gave me?